Well, because we originally had planned for this process when we were thinking it through at the very get-go. We were thinking when it gets to the point, that's our room.
Hello? Yeah. Oh, okay, great. Cool. Good night.
What happened?
Our checkout time is 12.
Okay.
Okay.
You can still come.
All right. So, anyway, where were we? No, I remember. I was going to come to India for her first international trip and the whole thing. The original plan was, once we know the date of your interview, we'll plan for me to come. I can meet you in Mumbai, be there with you for the interview. We're supposedly gonna get your passport with the visa within 10 to 12 days of the interview if you're approved. So I'll then fly with you to Kolkata. I'll just stay in Kolkata for 2 weeks, and then I'll fly with you back to America.
Yeah.
But because of COVID, I wasn't allowed, and I'm still not allowed, to get an e-visa to come back into India.
Yes.
So we had to make a change of plans.
Yes.
And
We had no choice.
we had no choice. So she flew by herself to Mumbai, and bless their hearts, Shreya not only picked her up, but stayed with her the whole week, stayed with her in the hotel,
That's a good friend.
and drove with her around everywhere.
Showed me how to
Everything.
reach there.
The doctor appointment,
My interview.
the waiting for the 5 days afterwards. And
Yes.
then she goes to show up for the interview, and I'm at home in LA knowing her interview is going to happen. And it's about the time for her interview, and I get a phone call. And I'm not sure why I'm getting a phone call, because it's not her interview time exactly at that moment. And I thought, wow, this is really quick. And I pick up the phone, and she says, they won't let me in with this form because it says Kolkata. I said, what? She said, they won't let me in with this form. And I said, but I called. She said, I know that. They don't care. I have to go to the printing place. You have to go in. You have to fix the form. You have to send it to me so I can print it. And if I'm not back in 2 hours with the corrected form, we have to reschedule the interview.
Yes.
So I then had to go on. And when I do go on, I log in. It says my password is incorrect. Log in again. Password incorrect, and I know I only have 3 tries and it'll lock me out of the system. I log in, get in, thankfully, after I checked it and made sure it was right. And then as I start to work on the document, it says time expired and logs me out within 2 pages. I log in again. The website says, we're very sorry. The website is under construction. Meanwhile, she's calling.
Meanwhile, while all
Waiting.
that was happening in the States, I was near a shabby looking Xerox place in Mumbai, with Shreya. Just like trash everywhere. I don't know, you can get killed like at one corner. Me and Shreya were just standing and hoping that he fill up the form again, and then I get a printout of that.
And I'm freaking out, to say the least.
Yes, but anyways, I think within half an hour,
45 minutes.
Half an hour, 45 minutes, it gets done.
But my process, even after all of that, the password thing, it's under construction. I go through, remember I told you earlier it was like a 12-page document. I go through again, I get through about page 10. It logs me out and says my time expired. And I have to go back in again. And I call up the embassy. And I'm talking to them and asking them what is going on. I need to get this done. Why was I told that this was okay in the first place when I called and double checked 4 days before her interview? None of that mattered. I wasn't going to waste my time. Suffice it to say, I was then able to get to the 12th page, and then there was a place at the end to say, here's where you can email your confirmation page for everything, which is what she needed to get into the embassy. So I had it pre-populated in there for her email address. And at the bottom it said, do you want to send it to another email address? And I thought, I better do that just to be safe. So I do. I put in my email address. Click. She never got the one to her email address. Because I got the one sent to my email address, I could then forward that to her. She could print it out and get to the embassy within the nick of time before that 2-hour time frame was done, and we would have had to reschedule.
Yeah.
And went in for her interview.
Reschedule meaning like
Weeks later, who knows when the day would be.
It could have been the day after, or it could have been September.
And in addition to that, we have a time frame in which United States Immigration, they gave us the approval. There's a certain time frame you have to have your interview done, and you have to get to America or that approval expires.
Yes. So we were constantly like,
Yeah. But then you had your interview.
yes. And everything after that was just smooth like butter. So smooth like butter.
Dun, 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 dun. That's for Alexis.
Yes. Love you, Alexis. And Ashley and Micah. Yeah.
And so the lady was really sweet who interviewed
Yes.
you.
Okay, so after that, everything was smooth as butter. And I waited. I saw many couples. Couples? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. People were there with their husbands or wives. I don't know. They were a different type of visa, but we were all waiting in a nice little space, lobby looking space, and there were counters in front of us, and yeah, we were called to our interview. I was shaking inside, but
Didn't you see someone declined?
no, she was grilled. She was
Oh,
getting
okay.
grilled. There
I
was
thought she
something
was
sketchy
declined.
going on. Anyways, I think so.
I thought there was a
Yeah,
declination that
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Anyways, so glad that was not me. So I was called to my interview, and the interview was fantastic.
She was a great lady.
She was a great lady. She asked me all kinds of questions like, how did you two meet? How did this happen? Which social media app? And what did your parents say? This, that. How many times you met? So all of that. And I guess the duration of the interview was probably like 15 minutes, 10
Yeah.
minutes?
I was surprised
10, 15
because
minutes.
she had messaged me. She couldn't take her phone in.
No.
Shreya had to stand outside with her phone.
Yes.
So she messaged me when she was going in, and I was surprised how quickly she called me afterwards. But
It
what
was
you
done
what
like
you
that.
did was you texted me.
Yes.
She texted me and she said, "Babe," and I said, "Yeah." And of course, my heart is pounding. And then she sent me a picture that I have, and I'm going to show you right here. This photo you're looking at right now is the photo of the screenshot of us on the phone that was taken. So she called me right after she said "babe," and that is a screenshot of her showing me the approval letter and my initial reaction to it when it said that your visa has been
Please
approved.
wait, I have to finish my story.
Okay.
So I was done giving all the answers to the immigration officer, and she waited 5 minutes. She was not saying anything, and then I heard like stamps going like tuck, tuck, tuck. And she said like, "Okay, Miss Indrani Mukherjee, your visa has been approved. Congratulations." And I was like, so well, thank you. And I think she mentioned that my interview was one of the
Maturest.
Yes,
Yes.
maturest she had come across since morning. So I was like, so
And then Shreya
yeah, that
and
was
Vicky
beyond- I was
celebrated with us.
beyond Grateful, yes.
Yeah, a very small handful of stupid babies who are in inner circle of stuff since before the OSR trip were aware of what was going on.
Yes,
and
only
close
a small
family, but
handful.
very small handful.
Yeah.
And thank you to all of you in the inner circle who kept everything
Yes.
secret.
Yes, because we wanted this whole saga to be private until everything was approved and until we were married. And so yeah, because of COVID, he couldn't come to my city, and we couldn't
None
have
of that.
like an ashirwad and by my family and everything. So hence this had to be plan B. So we will definitely be going back whenever he gets an e-visa.
Yeah.
And yes, to all the people who think that I escaped, I eloped, my family doesn't have a clue that I'm here. Just
Or if they approve.
or if they approve, no. Sorry to burst your bubble, but this is what's been happening. And yes, so
And yes,
when he gets
Her
the
family was well
e-visa-
aware of the process the whole
yeah,
time.
of course.
They all knew.
So when we get back, when he gets an e-visa, we will come back and we will do all the ceremonies that we both want to do.
And another criteria for the K1
Yeah.
is that once you arrive, you have 90 days from the date of arrival
Yeah.
to get married, or the visa expires and the immigrant has to
Yeah.
leave, because they figure if you genuinely want to get married, you're going to get married as soon as possible. And if you don't, this was probably fraud
Yes,
to get
I
into the
guess.
country. So
So anybody who is, if your loved one is abroad, and if you're applying for a K1 visa, so you get kind of the gist of what we went through, and just hang in there, and in the end, it's all worth it. Believe me.
and it's a very scary, uncertain, frustrating,
Yeah.
angering process for a couple of years.
You will feel like giving up most of the times. You will
You'll be
feel-
despondent.
Yes.
You will feel like, and you'll be outraged of the injustice of the fact that governments are denying you the simple right to just be with the person that you love.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
It's because of fraud people that makes it tougher for good people,
Yeah.
for genuine people who want to do it in the genuine in a genuine way.
But our thing we said to each other every single day was, every time we hung up the phone, and sometimes throughout the day, we would say, one day closer.
One day closer.
One day closer. And we'd use the analogy of, if you climb Mount Everest, it's one step at a time. You may not see the peak, but you're one step closer. You may not know how long it's going to take, but you're one step closer with every day that passes. And each day was a victory of saying, we're going to do this. And then we went from saying one day closer to we got this. We were really close. But it was nerve-wracking, because when she went to the airport to fly to Mumbai, there was the possibility she could come up COVID positive and not be able to even fly to Mumbai. Then there was the possibility that she could be denied when she got there, and then all the drama we went through. Then she could have had COVID positivity getting on the plane to come to America. Then, with all of the changes and the variants, there was the possibility that she was not going to be allowed into the United States,
Because
even
of
after
the
she'd been
travel ban.
approved.
Yeah.
Because
Anything could have happened.
some people were not allowed.
Yeah.
We saw President Biden in May of this year, or April, had said
only specific
specific
holders,
visas could get into
yes,
America.
So we were constantly like, okay,
Freaking out.
does like our visa fall under the category of the allowed visas?
And so we would look at the
it's
news
very
article,
confusing.
then we'd call Rapid Visa, then we would call the embassy in Mumbai, and even then, in the back of our mind, we're thinking, well, when the embassy told me my form was right and it wasn't, what if they've told us that your visa is okay, and then you're going to get to the United States and they're going to say you can't get into the country because you've been banned to get in here because of a new variant? But we do
So
it.
have patience.
Yes, have patience.
Yes.
It will work out.
It will work out.
And now we're here and we're married, and
Yes.
that's the
I think we covered both part
journey.
1 and part 2.
we did. That's all right. It's all good. It's part 1 and 2 together.
Whee! It's sleepy time.
Yeah. I love you. Bye.
Good night. Hasta la vista, baby.